Alright guys, taking a look under the hood here, you can see the tiny little 184 horsepower 2.4 liter VTEC engine. If you take a close look at this thing, you can see actually how little room the cylinders themselves actually take up right in the engine bay here. So while this motor is tiny and it doesn't provide that much power, it is extremely fuel efficient. So if you want to be spending less on gas, help save the environment, this is a great car for you because it does get an average of 27 miles per gallon, 25 miles per gallon in the city with 31 on the highway. Alright guys, so looking at the front of the car here, I do want to mention something about the change from the 4th to the 5th generation CRV. So if you look right here, you can see that this has a fairly aggressive look. And that's something that Honda was really striving for. You can look at the grille, look at the headlights, and look at the curves on the front. They really wanted to give the CRV a much more aggressive look than the past CRVs. And that's actually something that I have seen in more and more cars today, and I really do enjoy it, especially on this CRV here.
Alright guys, so just a quick overview here of the interior. We come in here, lots of plastic. Of course, this is a base entry model car, entry model small SUV. The seats are relatively comfortable, as you can see. They have a relatively nice design. They are made of cloth, some good side bolsters here, good cushioning, but again, it is mostly plastic. Like all this is plastic. This metal, it looks kind of metal-like on the trim, but this is just plastic as well. Coming here into the center, you have some nice black trim here, and then these buttons here on the infotainment area. There is a backup camera in here, which I will show you in a moment. The drive selector is up here kind of in the upper section of this center console area. And you have plenty of storage down here, as well as a cubby right here. Alright guys, so right here you can see the backup camera. Not a particularly high quality backup camera, but it is there and it is helpful. And it does have these lines that go back to show you your trajectory. And one other thing I want to mention, I did mention the interior space, but we do have 4 cup holders up front, 1 in each door, and then 2 more here in the center.
Okay guys, so hopping into the back here, there's one big thing that I want to mention about this. You know, this is the base model, it's just cloth seats, but something huge literally has to do with size. I am 5'10", 5'11", and I am sitting comfortably behind the seat that is set in the way I was previously up in front of the car here. So somebody 6 feet tall, 5'10", 6, sitting behind somebody who's somewhere between 5'10" and 6 is completely comfortable. They have plenty of leg room, and it's just all around a great ride back here. Alright guys, so back here your interior is pretty basic. You have some cup holders in your doors, and then you do indeed have 2 more cup holders right here. So your passengers in the back, as long as there are only 2 of them, will have 4 cup holders in total, just like the people up front.
Alright guys, so now taking a look here into the back cargo area of the car, there is a ton of storage space back here. You could easily fit 5 or 6, maybe even more suitcases back here, or 4 or 5 golf bags back here. Also, if you happen to need more room, both of these middle section seats will fold down and give you basically all the way up to those front driver seats in room. Alright guys, so I briefly just wanted to mention a couple other things about this car. In 2019, this was an IIHS top safety pick, so it is a very safe vehicle. It's also a very fuel efficient and cost efficient vehicle. This one right here, as it is sitting, is only about $25,000 for a new all-wheel drive small SUV or mid-size SUV. So this is a really good option if you live somewhere where you need all-wheel drive and you're just coming out of college or you're just coming out of high school and are going to be buying your first car. This would be a very good option for you if that's what you need. If you need some space, the all-wheel drive, the cost efficiency, fuel efficiency, as well as safety. Alright guys, so jumping into some driving impressions here. We're just driving on this kind of curvy-ish road here. It doesn't feel any different really than any other small to mid-size SUV. It does have a good steering feel. It's a relatively tight steering feel for an SUV and not something that's supposed to be sporty or have any tight steering feel. But it does feel nice to drive. The road noise, there is a little bit of road noise you can hear from the tires and this isn't an expensive car by any means, so like the insulation in that area for muffling audio noise coming outside the car is going to be a little bit less than you would have in a nicer, more higher end car. But overall, we're driving at 55 miles an hour right now, about 50 miles an hour, and you can talk normally, and the road noise really isn't that bad. But you do hear, I'm sure you can hear some of that tire noise right now. Alright guys, so another thing I want to talk about when driving this, one of the things I like the most about this car is this driver information screen up above here. So you've got, I don't know, I can just take that camera real quick. Right in front of me here, you've got the tachometer as well as the speedometer and a couple other things down there, but you can see the speedometer as well as the range and trip mileage, that is all digital. I just like how that's situated there among, like right in the center of the tachometer there. It's a really neat looking display. Then over here, of course, you've got the fuel gauge, which that is also in digital on the inside, as well as the temperature gauge. All right, guys, so just a little bit of an acceleration here. We'll see what it does. Also, this has the continuously variable transmission, so I'm curious to see what that will do under load. So we'll do a little acceleration here coming out of this turn. All right, so that was the 60 right there. I did realize now that I had it in eco mode. There's a button right down here that you can press to put it into eco mode. And interestingly, on this vehicle, there's also a sport mode down here. You can see on the drive selector right underneath drive. There are no paddles or anything, so you cannot switch the gears manually. But it just now kicked. Did you press the eco button?
I did kick that off just then, guys. If you saw me press that button, that's all it takes to turn off eco mode.
Yeah, because I just saw the light go away here. Also interesting, up here on the display above the tachometer, if you can see those green lights up there, whenever you're not pressed on the gas, they will light green. So I'm going to floor it here, and now they are white. If you saw that, I guess I didn't really floor it, but I put on the gas and now they're back to green. That's a really interesting little feature there that I'm just noticing while driving that, being that like it's the eco mode. When it's green, it's kind of saving energy, saving gas, as you would guess, because you're not pushing the gas all the way down. Just an interesting little feature right there.
Yeah, so I'm going to add on to that. Something that reminds me of is actually your hybrid battery motor and charger on like a Toyota Prius. Whenever you let off the gas pedal, it shows that you're actually charging the battery. Kind of similar to that, just to have you so you can get some relatability to these green lights that are up here.
All right, guys, I'm sure you're all wondering about this, so I'm going to put it into sport and just see what happens here. A little S came on the dash, but we are going to try and see what this does. So I don't know if it just revs a little bit higher or not. It didn't really accelerate any quicker, but I did notice once it got past about 4,500 RPM, it did start to pull a little bit faster, I think, which is interesting. And now I'm seeing it's keeping the revs higher right now. We're still sitting up around 3,000 RPM right now. So that might be what it does, is holding the revs a little bit higher in case you want to then re-accelerate. So that's just an interesting little feature that they put a sport mode on this like small SUV with a little 4-cylinder engine. Alright guys, so one thing I do want to mention, this being a base 2019 CRV, it does not have a whole lot of features, but one thing it does have is a hands-free link for your phone. So you can make calls. There's the phone button up here, or over here on the steering wheel, you've got the 3 phone buttons. You can voice speak, say call so-and-so, and it'll call and hang up and call from your steering wheel without having to look at your phone, which is a nice feature and makes this vehicle more safe. Alright guys, so that is going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed, be sure to go down, drop a like, and subscribe. Share the channel, leave us a comment, tell us what you liked, what you didn't like. And with that said, we'll see you in the next video.
Bye, guys.